I brought this truck to work, and so today I'm going to be breaking down if it's actually paid me back or not. Stay tuned. I wanted to buy a truck for so long, and so 6 months ago, I pulled the trigger and finally brought one. I got an '02 Ford F-150 Blue XLT. You've probably seen it on this channel before, but today I'm going to go over the price that I paid for it, some of the initial repairs, and how much I made from hauling. I found this truck on Craigslist, and the seller wanted $2,500. I went to go test drive it, kind of see what was wrong with the truck, what maintenance issues and things like that may have been going on with it. And after test driving it, I told the guy, I said, "Hey, would you take $2,000 for it?" After talking to my dad, who used to be a mechanic, he's retired now, I was able to convince the seller the $2,000, and we moved on from there. So I test drove it one day, went back and purchased it the next day. So the numbers after this are going to be what I spent on maintenance as well as taxes and title and those types of things, but nothing that I added for luxury. Taxes and title, I spent $220.99 to get the registration. I'm in the state of North Carolina, so I had to register it and get a license plate on it. So that was $220.99. Some of the things that I was able to get the price down and negotiate about were brakes and rotors. I paid $24.53 to get brakes on it. This was from Amazon. I also had to get a brake caliper. That was $54.99 from Amazon. I also had to do the front sway bars. That was $17.99. I also needed wipers, $15.29. I needed tie rod ends. Ironically, there were two different prices. I paid $28.78 and I paid $32.78. The thermostat in the truck was also broken, so I had to update the thermostat. That was $9.43. And as you all saw most recently, the alternator went out on me, and that was $97.99. So all of those items that I just mentioned, they all came from Amazon. I also had to go to Walmart. I did the oil change myself. That cost me $42.14. And I changed the rotors. I got these rotors from Napa, and that cost me $88.66. The number that I'm about to share does not include any tools or anything like that, because I'm going to reuse those tools again. So I had to get wrenches and sockets and those types of things to do some of the maintenance on the truck. But again, I'm not including those numbers. So y'all ready for this total? The total spent on the truck, plus the repairs I needed to be able to drive it in North Carolina safely, was $2,633.27. Let's move on to how much I made hauling in my first 6 months of owning the truck. So I'm going to tell you about each move, and I'm also going to be throwing some stuff up on the screen so you can see the receipts. These are in no particular order. So I moved a guy who needed some help moving a bed and a mattress from one place to another. I charged him $75 for this move. It probably took me about an hour to do. I moved another young lady that I actually knew from high school from one city to another city. And here, I know you're going to hear the price on some of these and think, man, you didn't charge enough. A lot of these, I was trying to test the waters and see what the going rate was where I am, which is Charlotte, North Carolina. So I charged this lady also $75. In hindsight, I probably should have charged her $200 or $300 because I had to move a couch, a bed, a table, and I had to take it up 3 flights of steps when I got it to the new spot. And so I learned that as I went on to start charging for steps and things like that. But starting out, that's not something that I knew. I had to move a table on my lunch break one day, and I charged that lady $75. I moved a washer and a dryer for a couple, as well as a dresser, from a storage unit to their apartment. And I charged them $100 to do that. One night I was sitting on the couch with my kids and a lady messaged me on Facebook and asked if I could move a mattress, and she needed it to be moved immediately. Because it was just one singular mattress, I moved it for $40, and it took me all of 30 minutes or so to do that. So you remember the first guy I was talking about where I moved a dresser and a mattress and those types of things for? He came back to me, and I actually ended up moving a grill for him, and I charged him $40 to move that grill. So one of the biggest moves I did not get paid what I should have gotten paid. So a young lady reached out and asked me if I could move a couple things out of her apartment. She was moving from one apartment to another apartment. And originally, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 3 things max. And I told her, yeah, absolutely, I could do that for you. Here's the price. This is how much it's going to be. And when I got there, she kept saying, oh, well, can you add this? Can you add that? Can you do this? And y'all, she was on the 3rd floor at one apartment and on the 2nd floor at another apartment. Remember, I said I didn't realize I should have been charging more for steps in the beginning. This lady beat me over the head. I charged her maybe $150 to move everything, and she did end up giving me a $50 tip. But for the amount of time and the amount of work that went into that move, I definitely got beat in this game. And so I said she gave me $200 to move all of that stuff. But this was when I started to learn my lesson that I need to be asking about steps and what's involved and how many things, and being more vocal on the spot of saying, oh, that'll be an additional $25 or that'll be an additional $50. I just didn't know that in the first early days of doing this. I moved a sofa for a guy, and this is a crazy story. The guy messaged me on Facebook, asked me what day I'll be available to pick up a sofa. He was actually nowhere, not even in town. I was picking it up from a Facebook market find that he had found and taking it to his house, even though he wasn't there, and putting it in a storage unit in the backyard. When I tell y'all, this was another one of my first moves, so I didn't charge enough. Luckily, the guy who they were buying it from helped me load it on the back of the truck. But when I got to his house, he did not have anybody there to help me. And his backyard was hilly, and it had a pool that I had to work around. And the storage unit had about 5 steps for me to get into in his backyard or storage shed. So when I tell you I did not charge enough, I think I ended up quoting him $50, and he may have given me a $25 tip. So I know for sure he paid me $75, but I don't remember what I actually quoted him. So another move I did was I moved a table for someone, and I charged them $50 to do this. Quick, simple move, didn't take a lot of time. So y'all remember the guy who I moved the grill for and also the mattress and all those other things? He called me or messaged me again most recently, and I moved another bed for him, and I charged him $30. Now you might be saying, EJ, you're not charging enough. This guy has been a repeat customer, and honestly, I like the dude. I think that we have a lot in common. So just spending time with him and chopping it up with him, I feel like that's worth more than actually charging him for the move. And we actually have been talking about doing some business together. So again, I don't charge him an arm and a leg for do those things. He's probably been the most honest person that I've moved. Whenever he says it's going to be 1 or 2 things, it's literally 1 or 2 things like he said. So I don't charge him a lot. So the guy who I moved, and he gave me the $75 for moving the sofa, later that week, his brother actually reached out and asked if I could help move a family member who was moving offices. They had a business, and they were going to move from one location to the next. And I honestly don't remember exactly how much he gave me because he paid me in cash, but I think it was around $40 that he gave me. And again, it was one of those times where they really didn't need me. I think I may have moved 3 things, and nothing actually went on my truck that time. It was just the muscle power, which I don't typically do. But when he called me, he said he needed stuff on the back of the truck, and they ended up having a U-Haul, so they didn't need anything on the back of the truck. But I did lend a hand, and like I said, it was $40. And then the last move that I'll speak about is I moved a washer, a dryer, and a couch. Again, this is one of those times where I didn't charge enough. I got there, and the young lady was moving out of an apartment with her significant other. So she was moving out of the place. She had a washer, a dryer, and a couch. Y'all, when I tell you this couch was so heavy and there was no one there to help me, she did try to help as much as she could. But I always tell people that I am a one-person moving company. And if you don't have someone there to help, or you can't help yourself, then I'm not going to be able to do it. Now, some things I can move by myself. The washer and dryer, figured it out. But this couch was so heavy. And ultimately, we did end up getting it on there. But again, I feel like I wasn't charging enough. I think I charged her $75. And when I got there, she's like, oh, can you take the couch too? And one day, y'all, I'm going to learn my lesson. But I was like, sure, yeah. And she ended up giving me a $20 tip on top of the $75 for a total of $95. But the way my body felt after I moved that big old couch, my body said I didn't charge enough. And so I'm learning my lesson as I go, but I wanted to share these numbers with y'all because originally I got the truck to work and to do hauling with, and it's made me quite a bit of money. So if you haven't been keeping the calculations, I want to give you the grand total. So in my first 6 months, I did a total of 12 moves and I made a total of $895. Now that's not including gas and maintenance and those types of things on the truck, but just overall, I made $895. Come on this journey with me as I try to make this truck pay for itself through hauling. If you made it this far in the video, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you in the next one. All right, y'all. Peace.